guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while. I'm so sorry that it took this long to produce this video. So today, from the title, we are going to be making a corset. It's actually an overbust corset, but I'm going to be showing us in case we want to add yoke to it. So I'll be making an overbust corset, but I'll be explaining also the techniques of adding yoke to our corset. So let's get started. The materials you need are your measurements, your tape rule, your rulers, and of course your pattern paper. All right, if this is your first time of seeing me, I'm Bella. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and share with your family and friends. All right, so let's get started. So guys, the measurements you'll be needing, which I'll be putting on your screen, is your shoulder measurement, your bust, your underbust, your shoulder to underbust, nipple to nipple, waist measurement, shoulder to waist, blouse length, and hip length. In case if it's a blouse that you're making, but if it's something that will have maybe peplum, you have to stop at your half length. But I'll be making it a full corset, like a full blouse. Then you can cut out the parts that you don't need. Okay, so let's get started. First and foremost, I'm going to be making like a starting point, a shoulder line, kind of. So I'll be working with this part. Okay, so I will input my shoulder measurement, which is 8. Okay, so I have 8 here. Then I'll come down. Some people use 8 inches for their armhole, while some use 9, some use 7.5. Anyone that works for you, depends on the size of your client. So I'm using 9 for my armhole, and I'll rule across. So this is my chest line, or you can say bust line. Okay, so moving down, my nipple to shoulder to nipple point, or shoulder to bust apex is 10.5. So I mark. Make sure you mark like 2 or 3 places for the line to be straight and equal. Okay, so this is my chest line, and this is my nipple point line. Okay, so coming down to my underbust is 14. Okay, so this is my 14 and 14. So I mark. And my waistline, which is 17. Okay, so, and my blouse length, which is 24. So here we have our shoulder line, our chest line, nip point line, our underbust line, the waist line, and our blouse length. Okay, so having gotten these lines, we're going to start imputing this the measurements now. So as we all know, you're going to bring down your shoulder measurements here, which is 8. So you rule across, meeting the first point up. Okay, so you find the half of it, which is 4.5 here. Then you come in by 0.2 or 0.25. Some do 0.5, but it all depends on what works for you. Some do 0.5, while some do 0.25. So it all depends on what works for you. So I'm going to be inserting my nipple to nipple measurements. Mine is 8, so divided by 4 divided by 2, sorry, will give me 4 plus 0.5 inches, that is 4.5. So I will mark that down, 4.5 inches down. Okay, so this is my line. That is 4.5 inches. That's my nipple to nipple line. Okay, so we're going to be inserting the normal dart. So the normal dart starts from the waist. Okay, like your normal basic bodies dart, we all know. So your normal dart starts from the waist. You take in 1 inch on this side, sorry, half inch on this side and half inch on the other side. So that's 1 inch. Then you come up the blouse length. You come up by 2 inches here. That is where your dart is going to stop. Okay, so you connect it to your nipple point, but to your nipple point you're going to come down by 0.5 inch. This 0.5 inches is so that it won't have a sharp edge here. Okay, so let's connect. I know you say you might say it's a bit confusing, but it's very simple. This is me drafting my basic block, my basic bodies, just the normal basic bodies. We'll still get to the corset. So after imputing my my dart lines, then the one that will go up here, you divide your bust by 8. The answer you get, divide it by 2 again plus 1. So that is your natural neckline. Okay, so mine gave me 3.5. So I'm going to insert 3.5 here and 3.5 here. Okay, some will tell you that the standard measurements for neckline are 3 by 3. Yes, I'm not disputing that fact, but to get your own natural neckline, you know, some of us are plus size while some are slim. So to get your own accurate natural neck measurement, do this and you get it correctly. Okay, so from here I'm going to be taking my shoulder slope by ½ inch, that's 0.5, and I will connect. You can take 1, you can take half inch. You can take 0.75. It depends on all what works for you. All these things we do here is to show you the basic steps, then you can impute the formulas that work for you. The only thing we are concerned about is you arriving at a very smart design. Okay, so you're going to divide this your shoulder by 2. Dividing my shoulder by 2. This is it here. Okay, so I'll come up by 0.25 again here. All right, so I'll mark a straight line. Hope it resembles something that we are familiar with. Hope it's clear now. Okay, so I'm going to be imputing my my measurements. Okay, so my bust measurement is 39 divided by 4 is 9.75, but I'm going to just make it 10. Okay, this is 10. Then my waist measurement is 34 divided by 4 is 8.5, but remember we took out 1 inch here, so we are going to get 9.5. okay, and the hip is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5, so we are marking out 10.5. You can add 0.5 inches for ease in all these measurements, but you know it's corset, so corset needs to be, you know, tight, like not really so tight that you be uncomfortable, but you know it needs to snatch. Corset needs to snatch. So this is our basic bodies. Okay guys, so to get the curve that is supposed to be here, you know that for your armhole, you know, to draw your armhole, there is a curve that's supposed to be here. Measure this place from this line, this your armhole line, to your bust, where your bust, the end of your bust. Measure it and know what it is. So mine is 2 divided by 2. That will give me 1. Okay, so this is my 1 here. So you're coming up by 1 inch. You see how I put my tape rule in a diagonal manner, not straight. It's not straight like this, okay. So my 1 inch is here, and I'll come in with my curve, my armhole curve. Make it in such a way that you get the 3 points, the 3 most important points. This 1 inch here, this 0.25 you marked at the half length of the armhole, and this point. Okay, so you curve. And there is your armhole. All right, so having gotten this, we are now going into the corset proper. Okay, so you come here. So for those that will be needing yoke, you can start from the length of your yoke. Some might say they don't want it too revealing. Please, if you're a plus size, you should need yoke for a corset. We don't want your boobs to be shooting out as if they want to fall off. Okay, for slim people, they can do this overbust, but for a plus size that is very busty, please, you need yoke. Okay, so for you that need yoke, you can use either 5 or 6. or 7, depends. Some will tell you they don't want their boobs to be revealing, they don't want their cleavage to be showing. So it depends on what works for you. All right, okay, so anything you want, use it. You know how you do your normal yoke bodies, you rule it across, but I'm not going to be doing that now. So you're going to get the difference between your nipple point and your underbust. You measure that. Mine is 3.5. So you're going to take that 3.5 round. Hope we get. So my 3.5. Okay, now you see this circle, that is not the most important thing. This circle is just to show you where the limit at which your cleavage will show. You see this point here. Now this is where your cleavage stops, and if you go beyond it, that means you want it revealing. If you go higher than it, that means you want to conceal it. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. All right, some if you do your circle and it shifts out of this space here, it doesn't matter. You will still shape and reconstruct this cycle. Okay, so now let's snatch our underbust. So for those of you that don't know how to snatch your underbust, you might be wondering, that is very small. I know our underbust measurement, as you can see, I didn't insert the underbust measurement when I was doing all this. So our underbust measurement is 32. That is 8. So I have 4.25 here. Taking my 4.25 to this side. Okay, and I'll complete my 8. Can we see? So after completing the 8, this dart that is left here, this space here, that is what you use to snatch. So I have 1 inch here, and that 1 inch you're going to distribute it equally. Okay, you're going to distribute it equally to this part. So remember when I was measuring, I didn't add this dart. Remember I said 8, so I had this side, I had 4.25. Then I turned my tape to continue my measurements from 4.25, and I got my 8. Okay, so this 1 inch we are going to distribute it after these legs. So you add ½ inch here, add ½ inch here, and then another ½ inch here. Okay, so let's see how many this thing is. That's 1.5 inch. Okay, so now you get to connect. I know you'll be saying it's not too small, but this is a very snatched underbust. So in the up part, I'm going to be taking 1 inch, but that's when I determine where my yoke is going to start. But I think I will leave it with this. So I want to shape out this circle very well, not well curved. Okay, so my 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on the other side here. So you connect it to this part too. Remember we came up by 0.25, and 0.25. It's just to avoid those sharp points. Okay, so how we seeing our cup? Hope you're loving the cup. So you just connect, just make it, just connect it like so. Are we loving the cup? I'm loving it already. So this is it. Now from this part here, you're going to take out, come in by half inch down. You need it. You know those our bra we buy in the market, at the center, in the middle of the bra here, you will see some kind of space between the two cups. That's it here. Okay, so you mark it down, your half inch down. So this is it here. All right, so now to dissect this cup, it's you that know the kind of neckline you want. If you're still going to come down from your chest line by 1 inch, is left for you. If you're still just going to, leave it like this, is left for you. But I think I'll be leaving it like this, so I'll be coming down to this part like so. Can we see? Then this one, I'm trying to connect it to my armhole. Can we see? Hope it's forming something. Okay, now the secret of corset is that the center should be smaller than the sides. The side should be bigger than the center by at least 1.5, 2 inches, 2.5, depending on the bust size. Okay, for a smaller bust like this, not really small, medium bust. For a medium bust like this, it should at least be wider with 1.5 inches. Okay, so we're just going to use our curve to shaping this out a bit. We don't really need to measure it. We'll just, use our eyes, our eye gauge to curve it. So this is our new bust cup, this part. Then this part, remember our half inches here, so this part is coming like this too. From the half inch, just connect it down. Can you see? Can you see our cup? So this is our cup, like so. So in case you want to add yoke, you cut this off and add your yoke. In case you want to bring down the depth, you can come down by 1 inch or go up by 1 inch. Any one you want. You can go up by 1 inch, like so, or come down by 1 inch, or make it exactly at your bust point. If you come up by 1 inch, you're going to be getting something like this. If you come down by 1 inch, you just have to connect it very well and get something like this. You see the difference? I'm not sure. Can we see the difference? This is the bust point on this line. then coming up by 1 inch, this line, coming down this line. Just give it the shape you want. And this is your yoke. This is your yoke, okay? For plus size, please use yoke so that it will hold you firmly. And you can see that this underbust is well snatched. All right, then for the hip area, to give it that corset look, you come up by either 1.5 inches or 2 inches. So I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches here. Then you use your ruler to connect. So you see, now the beauty of corset gong is you know, giving it different lines, beauty lines that you add your bonings. Remember, corset without boning is not corset. All right, so you can give it any beautiful line just to join your cup. You can start from here like this, something like this. Remember, there is a line here already, so you can use this. You can either cut this on fold here, you can cut it on fold, or cut it separate and add boning to the front. So if you're cutting it separate, that means there is a line here, a line, this line we just introduced now, this line here. Then you can introduce another line here. Maybe to make it uniform, just measure what you have here. This is 4 inches, so another 4 inches here. Okay, then measure this place too. This is almost 1, so measure almost 1 and connect to your 4 inches. You know, you can give it any shape you want. And by the time you add boning here, boning here, boning here, it's going to stand very firm. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight where we are cutting out in this place. So guys, this is what we are cutting out. This is our front. Let's label it, please. It's very important to label, because once you cut out these pieces now, they will just be almost the same thing. Okay, so this is our side center front, up, down, up. It's very important. Up, down. This is the side front. Okay, side front and center front. Okay, so for those of us that are using yoke, you just cut it out and replace your yoke. Remember to add ½ inch here for joining and ½ inch for joining. Okay, so this is our corset bodice. Now to draft the back corset, the back of the corset, I'm just going to extend these lines. Oh, please let us not forget, no allowance on this drafting at all. So once we cut out, you're going to be adding like 3 inches allowance. It's better for it to remain than for you to be looking for your allowances. 2 inches to 3 inches, it depends on what works for you, but I like adding like 3 inches, okay, to be on a safer side. Then you add all this cut here. You're going to be adding half inch to any place you're going to join, any inseam, like joining inside the bodies, half inches to it. Then your blouse length, you're still going to add like 2 inches. In case you're turning with lining, then you add 2 inches or 2.5. Then you know that your lining will be shorter than the fabric, so that you can turn it over and to lay smoothly and fine. Okay, so now let me mark my zip allowance, which is 2 inches. So I like adding excess of everything because I don't want stories that touch. Okay, so my bust measurement is 10 here. Then the waist is 8.5 here. Then the hip is 10.5 here. Okay, so you can use this for your hip, to define the hip. All right, so this is our bust, the waist, and the hip. Now to insert our shoulder, 8, shoulder 8. You can see the back is very, very simple, very simple to draft out. Okay, now remember our neck, bust divided by 8 divided by 2 plus 1 inch. So I have 3.5 here, and then the back you can decide anything you want. If you want it lower, higher, the back is always fine when it's lower, like 6 inches. Okay, it's not compulsory the depths are the same, but the width should be the same so that they can match at the shoulder. Okay, so you can decide if you want your back to be lower, if you want it to be straight, if you want it like this, you can decide anything. So remember our 1 inch here, remember this is 2 inches divided by 2 is 1 inch. Bring it like this, diagonal. Then here 9, 4.5, then your 0. Okay, see, it's super duper easy to make. Corset is very easy to make. So you come down by 1/2 inch for your shoulder slope. Can you see? Basically everything I did here, that's what I did up here. So there is no need to keep wasting our time. So for the back dart, I use from the waist 6 up, 6 down. So you can use anything that works for you. Okay, anything that works for you is fine. So remember your 4.5 inches, the nipple to nipples point of 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches. Okay, so from my waist, I'll repeat it, you can use anything that works for you. You can use anything. So this is what I use. From my waist, 6 inches up and 6 inches down. That is where my dart stops for my back. Okay, then for the waist, you open it up by 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch on both sides. Then you connect. Remember, rule of that, anything you take out, you replace. So I'm going to be replacing this 1 inch that I took out. Remember, half inch plus half inch is 1 inch. So you come to your waistline here. Come to your waistline here and place it. 1 inch. So you connect back. Connect back to the bust, to the hip. The reason why I like using this curved edge here, you know, the hip now, it's so that it will give it enough room. All right, so this is our back corset. Now, for those of us that want, remember, if you are not using yoke now, this place is off, so you can come down by 2 inches, 1 inch, anything you want. You can come down. Even if you're using yoke, you can still come down and use the yoke like that. So I like it very low. 2 inches is fine. Sorry about that mistake. So voila. So our corset is ready. Can you see? This is the back and this is the front. But remember, there is no sewing allowance on this yet. You're going to add 3 inches or 2 inches sewing allowance by the side, the 2 sides. Okay, then in the inseams here, this part, all those parts are marking this arrow, they need sewing allowance. All these arrow parts, in case you're adding yoke, you still need sewing allowance. Even if you're not adding yoke, you know, when you turn it with lining by ½ inch, it's still going to come down. So if you don't want that, add seam allowance here. Okay, so where else? Okay, this part, all these arrow parts need seam allowance. Then here, seam allowance, seam allowance, seam allowance. Okay, sorry guys, I forgot something. This dart that we snatched at the underbust, sorry, you're going to connect it back to your waist. I'm sorry about that. So this is it. Okay, I'm sorry about that, I totally forgot. So let me highlight it too. Okay, so this that we snatched, we're going to connect it down to our waist. We won't just leave it like that now, it will be confusing. So seam allowance, you know, seam allowance everywhere. If you're going to cut out these lines, these style lines, they're called style lines. If you're going to cut them out, you know, to be adding your boning, your bias and everything, you're going to still add seam allowance to join them. Anything you didn't add seam allowance here will affect here. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this class. Please give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. Leave your comments in the comment section for any other question. Comment section below, and see you guys in my next class. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.